Welcome back to another Meta Monday. Do you love Dragapult but hate having your Dusknoir engine shut down by a little duck? Then you need to try Pult Zard. Now today I'll be showing you guys Miłosz Dyrlica's Dragapult Charizard list that earned them a 62nd place finish at that Lille Regional. I'll show you guys the full list, break down the core cards and the techs, and then jump into some ranked matches so you can see how strong this deck really is in the Mega Evolutions format. Now, and here's the list, and there are 3 core cards that make it tick. First off is Drakloak. This is our main draw engine. Unlike pure Dragapult builds though, this version prioritizes Drakloak for consistent card draw and pivoting, and then depending on the matchup, we can still evolve into Dragapult when needed, so we only run a single copy of Dragapult in here. Now, Charizard is our primary attacker. With Gardevoir everywhere right now, Charizard is the perfect answer. High HP, massive scaling damage, is a dark type, and is extremely strong in mid to late game scenarios. Arven is the other core card that I want to talk about. This is a must play at 4 copies. We rely on Rare Candy plus TM Evo to get our board online quickly, and Arven grabs exactly what we need when we need it. Now, and as for tech cards, this list has some strong techs that master different matchups. First off, we have Cleffa. This is our free retreat option and the perfect pivot when we need to stall or buy time to scale Charizard's attack. Also great when we're not ready to commit attackers, so we can easily give this up and draw extra cards, setting up our plays. Iron Leaves is another tech card that we're running. It's our answer to Zoroark and Grimmsnarl, the other 2 big dark decks in the room. It one-shots both and gives us an alternate recovery tool with its first attack as well, being able to get 2 Pokemon back from the discard into our hand. Now, and we also have Town Store. This is our stadium bump and a key way to find our key tools that we need, extremely efficient in a deck that relies on tool value and consistency like ours. Now, if you want to try the list yourself, the deck list is in the description below. And with that being said, let's get on to game number 1. Alright, so game number 1 is against the most popular deck in the format right now, Gardevoir, and this is going to be a matchup that you got to get really comfortable with because you're going to be playing against it so often. Now in here, we're going to use this Buddy-Buddy Poffin. We're going to get 1 Dreepy and 1 Charmander. I just wanted to deck check a little bit, make sure how many energy we have left in the deck, and see how many copies of Charizard we have in there as well, and if we prized any of our Charmeleons, since we need to focus on getting Charizard set up, and that's going to be our main attacker in this matchup. Now in here, our opponent is opening up with Arven, so they will be able to get things like their Secret Box and their TM Evo, so they can completely set up their board. Now this is a great start by them, and our hand is not looking too great right now. We do have the Arven, we do have the Ultra Ball, so we could get into a Charizard next turn and be able to start swinging, knocking out that Clefairy if they keep that in the active. Here, our opponent did use that Secret Box, they got the Artisan, and they did get a Air Balloon too, so most likely they're going to be retreating this Clefairy. They're actually playing the Frillish as well, so now we know that our items are going to be offline next turn. So I'm not really wanting to use this Arven next turn, I'm probably just going to use an Iono, but I do think that using the Arven and just getting the TM Evo and something else to help for a following turn may be the better position after all. But here, during our turn, we top deck into an Iron Leaves. They did item lock us with the Frillish, and we're going to use this Artisan first just to thin our deck, get another Charmander down. And like I said, I do decide on using the Iono here, but we actually get a much worse hand. We get 3 copies of Arven, an Ultra Ball, Air Balloon, and a single Fire Energy. So the Fire Energy is nice. That means that we can actually swing this turn, but even that I don't think is going to be too good here, because now all our opponent has to do is get a Dark Energy, and they're able to move 30 of that damage over and start stacking up that damage on our Charmanders. So maybe attacking wasn't the right decision either. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments if you guys would have made that decision as well. Now in here, they are getting down another Ralts, and now it's just a question of, do they have the Jellicent if it's the Jellicent variant, and are they able to get a Gardevoir set up at the same time? Now, they did play down that Kirlia this turn on their Ralts that had been on the field last turn, so they're not going to be able to go into a Gardevoir this turn. So they may actually just take one more turn of using Frillish here just to item lock us again, and most likely we will be forced into using a TM Evo in order to try to fix our hand, so we'd have to use this Arven to find it. Here we actually top deck into a Drakloak, so that's huge. First, we're going to Artisan, that way then we can thin our deck a little bit more. We'll grab one more copy of Dreepy, most likely. Even though they have the Clefairy, we're using the Drakloaks primarily in this build, so that way then we can get our draw engine. Here we have a tough decision with this Drakloak. We can either get that Luminous Energy or get the Drakloak. I do decide on getting the other Drakloak, and then with this Arven, I'm grabbing a Rare Candy and a TM Evo. The reason for the Rare Candy is so I can combo it with the Ultra Ball on a later turn, so we can set up like another Charizard. Now in here we are just going to go TM Evo. We're going to go into double Charmeleon. The reason why we choose to do double Charmeleon is we know that we have 3 Charizards in our deck, and we know that most likely our opponent is going to try to snipe one of our Charmeleons next turn. So we want to give ourselves the best option in case of all scenarios. So if they decide to play down a Jellicent and just take out the Chi-Yu, we still have 2 Charmeleons and we still have a double Drakloak that would be able to give us 4 extra looks to try to get that. So it's just trying to plan for the future right here. Now, our opponent is using Artisan, and they do got that Guardy down now, but they don't find anything off of the Artisan, so most likely any other Pokemon that they'd want to play is probably in their hand right now, and that's correct. They do have a Screamtail. So this plays right into what I thought was going to happen with the whole sniping on our bench on one of our Charmeleons. So we definitely made the right choice with that TM Evo. Now in here, they are just going to be retreating into that Screamtail. They still have the damage that they can move around with Munkidori as well, so they can move 30 onto the other Charmeleon, knock out the healthy one, and then they're just hoping that we don't have a way of getting into another Charizard this turn. But because we have that Ultra Ball still, we will be able to go into one. Now in here, they are just using that Gardevoir. They're taking their time, making sure how many energy they need and how many energy they actually want to put down on that Screamtail. So here they put down another one, that way then they can one-shot that Charmeleon. So first they will be using the Munkidori, moving the damage over, like I said, to the already injured Charmeleon. And I'm just trying to calculate how to do my next turn. So my game plan off of my hand right now is use this Ultra Ball, get rid of one of the Arven in the air balloon to find the Charizard, and then we can play down the other Drakloak. We can try looking with the Drakloaks first after using Artisan to find us another Charmander if we have another one in the deck right now, and then just try to naturally draw into the Charizard. We top deck into another Ultra Ball. We do have another Charmander, so I'm just looking through my deck, making sure that I got enough energy for this play, because we know that we have 2 energy on the Chi-Yu right now. So here with the Drakloak, we actually find the Charizard first, which is amazing. Now, and with this other Drakloak, we find a Super Rod. We also find a Munkidori, funny enough, and I debated about taking that because if we find a Luminous Energy, then we can start moving damage ourselves and being able to counter their Munkidori damage. Now then here, we do just play down that air balloon on the Drakloak, and then we are just going to play down that Charizard. We're going to just manually retreat that Chi-Yu, use this Arven. We can get the Counter Catcher plus the Maximum Belt. This way we can knock out that Gardevoir, forcing them to need to have a Rare Candy plus Guardy next turn if they want to have another Gardevoir set up on their field. Now, and this does mean that they now have Counter Catcher live, so we do have to worry about that too, because now we're ahead in the prize race. And here they do have a Nest Ball, most likely for a Fez, which, yep, they get the Fez. Now they can see 3 more cards, which gives them 3 more towards their combo of the Rare Candy Guardy that they need. They could also use just a Night Stretcher to get the Guardy back from the discard, and then just need a Rare Candy to go along with it. So they have multiple ways of doing it. They actually give up a Night Stretcher there and a Drifloon for that research, and then they use Fez, so that way then they're seeing 10 cards right now. That's the size of their hand. Now, they only have 10 cards left in the deck as well, so they do have to be careful with that, but I doubt that the game's going to go on so long that the deck out is going to be an option. Now in here, what they could do is just use the Munkidori to confuse our Charizard, and that is kind of a bad thing for us. And that's exactly what they do, is they attack into our Charizard, confusing it, meaning if we want to attack with this Charizard next turn, we're going to have to do a coin flip, because we're not running any mist energy or anything like that. Now in here, I'm just looking through the deck, making sure of what all I have left. We are just going to grab one more Dreepy. I am going to start using my Drakloaks here. We find another Charizard and a Luminous. Finding this Luminous energy is huge right now, but first we're going to use the other Drakloak, see if we find anything else. We actually find the boss, so now we have the full combo that I would love to do this turn. So we're going to start off by using this Ultra Ball, get rid of the Town Store plus the Buddy-Buddy Poffin, find the Dragapult, and then with the other Ultra Ball, we're going to get rid of Arven and Maximum Belt, even though I had a tough decision here of did I want to get rid of the Drakloak or did I want to get rid of the Maximum Belt. Ultimately, I get rid of the Maximum Belt because I don't see it really being that necessary anymore. Now, we do get the Charizard off of that. We're going to manually retreat the Charizard in the active. We're going to be able to go into a Dragapult this turn, and then we're going to put back a Charmeleon and 2 energy with the Super Rod, so that way then once we put down the Charizard, we can get 3 energy from our deck and be able to guarantee another attack. Now in here, I make a huge mistake. I only grabbed 2 energy because I was thinking too much about future turns, and that could have cost me the game. Now, with this boss, we are going to knock out this Clefairy here, and we will be able to knock out the Frillish at the same time. I could have knocked out the Screamtail, but I'm not afraid of the Screamtail right now. I was more afraid of the Frillish, because if they get that into a Jellicent and get the Clefairy back on the field, they knock out the Dragapult, and then we have a lot less options of finding that other energy that we would need. Even though off of our prizes, we do get the Luminous energy, so we still can attack next turn. Now in here, they do have the Night Stretcher. They are able to get the Clefairy back, so they will be able to knock out our Dragapult this turn. So now the focus on is, do they have other cards to disrupt our hand? If they don't, we can win the game. But they have the Iono, putting us down to 1. But we find the fire energy that we need off of that Iono to 1. So that is huge. That means that we can still just win the game next turn, even through them taking a knockout here. Now, and they have a pretty good play right now too. So they're going to be going back into the Mew EX, and they will be able to swing and copy our second attack, which will do 400 damage to our Dragapult because it's ×2 weak to Psychic right now. And if they move damage around with the Munkidori, they could actually take a knockout on the Drakloak as well, limiting how many cards we get to see next turn to just a single top deck. Now then, here, that's exactly what they're doing, and that's what they're setting up for. So they're trying to hope that we don't find another energy to be able to go with this Charizard to win the game. And we got very lucky by the fact that the Iono gave us this fire energy. So the big thing to learn from this match is don't make the same mistake that I did, and make sure that you put enough energy down when you use your Charizards, and don't try to have to rely on luck to be able to win the game from it. Alright, so game number 2 for you guys is going to be another meta matchup. So here we start first, we see a Fez, and I go double Dreepy and a Charmander. So we are just going to load up on the Dreepy with that Luminous energy because Charizard can easily set itself up. So here they have the Lunatone and Solrock engine, so that means that if they can move this Fez, they will be able to knock out the Dreepy in the active, which is the reason why we put the Luminous on the one on the bench. Now in here we see what the main attacker of our opponent's deck is going to be, and it is going to be Goldango. And our opponent is completely set up because they did have that Arven for the Buddy-Buddy Poffin to get 2 more Gimme Ghouls down. Now in here, they do just use the Air Balloon so they can actually start swinging this turn with the Solrock. They had a fighting left in their hand. They do take that knockout. Now, we are going to go and throw the Charmander up because we have an energy already down on that Dreepy. With this Ultra Ball, we will be going into a Drakloak here, and we will be trying to find a Rare Candy. Now, I debate about using Lilies first, but I want to try to find that Rare Candy, and we find it. So now we're going to be able to get a Charizard set up, which is amazing right now. And then we are going to be able to get energy on the Drakloak and the Charizard, getting both of those fully powered up before using the Lily's Determination. Then we can use this Nest Ball, and we can get down another Charmander or risk it and get down this Fez. Now then, the better play would have been to just get down the Charmander, but we got down Fez, so that way then we can draw 3 cards and see if we could find a Charmander that way. It was just a win more play and it didn't pay out. So definitely, if you're in that type of position, make sure that you get the Charmander. Don't be like me and get the Fez. Now in here, it is our opponent's turn. They do get down a Goldango, so we know that they will be able to draw 2 extra cards right now. And then with their Fez, they can draw 3 more, so they'll be seeing a total of 5 extra cards right now. If they can get access to their Genesect, then they could see 2 more as well. And that is what we're hoping that they don't find. Now then, they could also find like a Night Stretcher or use another Nest Ball and just get down a Solrock so they can get their card draw engine back online. But here they're starting off with the supporter, the Code Breaker. That way then they can set up 2 cards on top of their deck, and then they will be using Flip the Script to draw those 2 cards, plus an extra one, so they are making sure that they get what they need, which one was a Nest Ball so they can get a Genesect and find the other 2 copies of Goldango. That way then they have their board completely set up, they have all their attackers that they need, and we know that we're going to have to go through 3 Goldangos, or at least 2, to win the game. Now in here, they are just doing a bunch of draws. They did have that air balloon to put on a Goldango in the active so they can actually draw some more cards. And then they use their A-Spec Prime Catcher. They're going into a 3rd Goldango here, drawing 2 extra cards again. So they actually got to see 6 cards plus the 3 from Fez. So they got to see 9 cards this turn, which is crazy. Now, they will be able to knock out this Drakloak this turn, but that means that our Charizard will be able to attack next turn. Now then, another key card in this matchup that we really want to get set up is the Chi-Yu. If we can get a Chi-Yu set up, that one-shots a Goldango. Now in here, we top deck into another Dreepy, and then we are going to get both the Dreepy and the Charmander down, and then draw 3 off of Fez. So we find our Town Store, and that's decent. We could use that right now. But first, we are just going to put a Luminous Energy on the Charmander instead of putting it on the Dreepy. The reason for this is because we know that we have a low count of energy left in our deck, so we want to try to save as many energy as possible, and we know that getting Charizard down is going to be much easier and more effective as the game gets later. Now in here, we did use that boss so we can knock out the Fez, taking away 3 cards that they'll get to see next turn for free. And because we just didn't have enough damage yet to be able to knock out a Goldango either. And there's no reason to knock out the Genesect because they already have their Goldango set up. Now then here, they are going to use that Genesect just to see if they can thin the deck. They do, they thin it by 1 card. And now they will be able to see at least 4 more cards this turn because they put inactive the Goldango that has the air balloon. As for us, our game plan at this point is, since we are running high HP stage 2 Pokemon, that means that they need 7 energy in order to discard to be able to knock out our Charizards. Now then, they could have something like a boss and then 5 energy and be able to knock out the Fez, taking 2 more prizes, and then they just need to be able to find enough energy the following turn to take out one of our Charizards, and that would win them the game. So that's kind of what they're looking for. As for us, we know that we need a Chi-Yu at some point. Otherwise, we are heavily relying on just dealing damage with Charizard. Here, they do have a boss, so they're going after that Fez, like I had said, and taking the 2 prizes on here. They do have to use one of their superior energy retrievals in order to do that, though. So here, they're just deciding on what energy and what cards to discard. They get rid of a Shaman and that Goldango that doesn't matter anymore. and they do get the energy back and take the knockout. Now in here, we are just going to promote up the Charizard once again, and we will be able to use this Ultra Ball, which is going to get us the Drakloak, and we will be getting that down. We look to see how many energy we still have left and to see if we still have the Chi-Yu. We do, we just need to find a way into it. Now, Buddy-Buddy Poffin doesn't work here to find it, but it is just a card to keep in our hand to discard at a later point. Now, we do have another boss, so I could boss up that Goldango in the back that has the air balloon. Getting rid of that means 2 less cards that they see next turn and making it a little bit harder for them to take a knockout on the Charizard, and that's what I do. But the better play could have been to just knock out the Goldango in the active. Yes, they see 4 more cards, but the difference between 2 superior energy retrievals getting 8 energy or 2 superior or getting a single superior energy retrieval and then having to get the rest of the energy isn't really that big of a deal in the long run for this deck. So either way, we knew that it just came down to luck if we're going to be able to win the game or not. So now they put some energy back into their hand. They use Make It Rain. Do they have enough damage? And they had 8 energy to discard, winning them the game. So here are my final thoughts on this Pult Zard list right now. This deck is incredible. While there are moments where a second Dragapult would feel nice, shifting the game plan towards Charizard is absolutely the right call in the meta right now. It shores up your worst matchups while keeping all of the power of the Dragapult engine when you need it. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button. I post new content every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. And thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next